Crave more conversations with nightlife legends? Follow Rants and Raves on your favorite podcast platform. When it comes to the spaces we gather to dance in human senses, the primary focus is, of course, sound, which of course makes perfect sense since music and sound quality are crucial to the dance floor. However, humans are kind of like sponges, absorbing at minimum 4 other senses in addition to their hearing: sight, smell, taste, and touch. For those graced with the ability of vision, I imagine sight to be near or perhaps equal impact to our psyche. Because art moves us by heightening our moods, cognitive function, and creativity, all while reducing stress and bettering our mental health. Introducing more visual art to spaces is one particularly effective way to expand upon and magnify our sensory experiences. Every era's subcultures and parties have their own aesthetics. And in today's era, I find the majority of visuals at parties tend to be either overstimulating lighting effects or enveloping thick and murky fog that obstructs our vision. While all approaches are completely valid, it begs further consideration as to what place art has in our visual experiences at parties, given our collective state of heightened emotion and vulnerability, especially given the tremendous difficulties many are facing in this dumpster fire of a world.
Dumpster.
I mean,
Big operative.
And today I'm joined by 2 guests to explore this topic. Both artists with decades of experience impacting culture on and off the dance floor: Richard Alvarez and Scooter LaForge. Raised in the Bronx as a teenager, Richard Alvarez became immersed in the downtown New York City scene in the 80s as a teenager, first as a fashion stylist and later as a painter, ultimately becoming part of the House of Field. His self-created technique of infusing paint and glitter on portraits layered in panels of glass is uniquely moving, bringing his subjects to life through light and form. As a person majorly moved by music, Richard spent and continues to spend a vast amount of time on the dance floor. And his love of shaping guest experience and party curation led him to work the door at major New York City parties, which have and today continue to massively impact culture. And born and raised in New Mexico, Scooter LaForge became part of New York's culture-shifting scene after moving here by way of San Francisco in 2001. As both painter and sculptor, Scooter's pieces often merge 2 dimensions into 3 through his vibrant technique, taking one into new worlds, transforming space with enrapturing and highly imaginative themes and use of color. Accessibility to art is of significant importance to Scooter, whose work in past decades could be found adorning parties. In addition to gallery shows, today Scooter's work can be seen in public spaces at Unfashion, which can be procured at stores such as the iconic Patricia Field Boutique. Richard and Scooter, welcome to Rants and Raves. I'm honored and elated to have you both as guests. Welcome.
Thank you.
And thank you. I'm happy to be here. Yes. Thanks for the introduction.
You're welcome. It was a long introduction, but that's as edited as it can go, given all of,
and well worth it.
The
all of your
historical
accolades
relevance.
The more, the better.
But
Yeah.
now we'll get into the chit chat of it all. So welcome again. And I'd love to start off with, what do you gather is the role and value of visual art at parties driven by music as the primary reason for gathering?
Well, I mean, one of the important things, and this is, Scooter's work was featured in the TV show The White Lotus, and they're at a rave, and 2 of the main characters are wearing T-shirts that he had painted. So I think the art being in those spaces is just a part of people using art as a means of showing off who they are, So, I mean, people dress up which in itself is an art form, right? Like,
Absolutely.
I mean, you know, whatever you're wearing tells us who you are and where you are in this, you know, the social economic. So I think art, besides being on the wall, you know, you have the artists who are producing the music, the artists who are producing the events. You know, people work in nightclubs who are artists because it allows them to practice their craft and then to make money to help sustain them. So I think art in the context of those spaces has always existed. It may have existed in different formats, but I believe it coalesced in the 80s. It all intersected and became like, that's when you really, I think, saw, you know, this side by side, this union of art with music and fashion and space and characters.
Just every aspect pushing it to new limits and new territory.
Yeah. I mean, what was San Francisco like for you, Scooter?
San Francisco was the classic San Francisco feel, what you would imagine San Francisco would be like. Very hippie, very love, very easy to live there. I had a part-time job in a cafe and I could pay my rent and go out every night. And as far as getting back to your question with art within a nightclub environment, it goes back into the 20s. It goes probably back earlier. It probably goes back to Beethoven. Like, I think of a Debbie Harry video from the 70s. They had spray paint everywhere. And sometimes they would decorate their stage with paintings, with art, with live painting in tandem with performance. And like, I'm sure nightclubs and discotheques had an aspect of art. I wasn't there in the 70s. I wasn't in New York City in the 80s. But I know they had Area, which had artists in the hallway going in, like, you know, various artists, tons of artists every week were featured.
Right?
Yeah. And then they had the Palladium, where there was paintings on the wall there. They had Danceteria, which I know there was paintings and graffiti and art featured there. So it's a historic thing that goes
Party.
Yeah,
Like the
party,
full
yeah.
party. Like they're
Yeah.
wearing the like, it's right there.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, yeah, do we need to say anything more? I mean,
No.
come on. It's like chocolate and peanut butter.
I think we were going to say a lot more, but not on that one.
Well, look, and this is a perfect example. Tova, her expression on the dance floor. I mean, you've really brought up your game through me.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't know how many
She's a color
times I
explosion.
see.
You're an explosion of color and dance and movement.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and you have roots in the ballet.
Yeah, I mean,
So-
I consider myself a dancer before a human being. So
Yeah.
Motion before matter is the way I like to
Yeah.
put it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank God for that.
I mean, that's what
Artist
keeps me
seeing
going.
artist, seeing artist. The light in you sees the light. The light in me sees the light in you.
That's quite the compliment.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And likewise, I obviously have both of your hands. So how does art drive emotion when in environments and parties and clubs and things of that nature where music is the central focus of the gathering?
I think my experience is like seeing Kenny Scharf's cave at Palladium, like a room full of adults running around like little kids like in a school playground. You know, there's so much stimulation that just heightens everyone's. I mean, of course, there's other substances helping, but there's a wild abandon I've seen. I think Mother, Jackie's 69. I mean, like that club brought a certain sensuality that people would act out on. And again, it may not necessarily have been paintings on the wall, but it's videotaping people in the bathroom stalls doing things, which then people are seeing, and it's, their inhibitions are lowering and they're acting out more, which, whether you want to do that or not, there's a certain energy that feeds. The music helps, the alcohol and whatever other substance you may be on helps. But like these visual signalings tell you it's all right to be colorful or to drop acid and watch the full moon and see the constellations. Like, I think it plays a major part, and it doesn't necessarily have to be strictly on the wall.
Yeah.
Well, thank God for you. I mean, I wasn't here for that era. I was in San Francisco in the 90s.
But San Francisco had a whole scene too.
They did. They brought it. We had Tranny Shack where I used to work. There was a lot of visuals there. I used to work at this club called Pleasure Dome. There was tons of visuals there. It was a different feel, though. Totally different feel. New York has its own thing. San Francisco has its own thing. And they're both beautiful and special. New York is probably more on the map. And you have that experience of going into the Palladium and seeing the thing that you just talked about.
Kenny's.
Yes. Which, I've only read about in the magazines. So, I wanted to be there. And this was in the 80s. Yeah, I wanted to be there. And that's probably what brought me here, is reading about that in Interview magazine. So I was in a tiny little town in the 80s in New Mexico. And then I moved to San Francisco in the 90s, and I got right into it in San Francisco. And it was a nice time. Kembra came and performed right down the street from my apartment at the Great American Music Hall, and that changed my life.
Yeah. Kembra will do that.
Yeah.
The voluptuous horror of Karen Black is such an experience that, I mean, it's burnt into my memory.
Yeah. Wow.
Like, I remember just looking and thinking, what the fuck is going on? Like, and it was so, I mean, it certain artists develop their own language, their own alphabet.
Oh, she has her own language.
Right? I mean, and not
undeniably hers.
Absolutely, without a doubt. But I think that, like, great art does that. It moves you, and whether you know who Scooter is or isn't, when you see one of those images, it speaks to you, and you don't even need to be there physically. You could see it on a screen, and it does something. I mean, you're not that it's all about dollars at the end. We all need to live, but I mean, people are responding to this image, and they saw it on a TV,
right?
And they want it.
Yeah.
Like design. You covet it. Like, I wanted to be Kembra on that stage getting eggs smashed into
Me
my
too.
face.
I wanted to be up
like,
there with
I
her
wanted
too.
to be her. Like,
me too.
Like, I wanted to feel that freedom and that abandon that was so accessible.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it pushes you to new places.
Yeah.
It's inspiring. It pushes you to go beyond your creative boundaries or limits when you see something like that.
And coupled with the music, it just kind of ups the ante.
Oh yeah, it's all a perfect storm.
Definitely.
I mean, I remember back when Danny Teneglio was doing "Be Yourself" at ARC or Area or whatever. It was ARC, I believe. I would get on the dance floor, and I would be having writer's block, artist's block, like a problem would manifest itself, and I couldn't push through it. Like, I didn't have the capability. I wasn't hitting the mark that I wanted with something that I was making. And I'd go on the dance floor, and then I'd be like, holy moly. And like, I was not on anything, but like the music would inspire me to start thinking and just, I mean, I go places on the dance floor, and I think a lot of people do, without, with or without.
Yeah.
And I would leave, and I would realize that I had that piece that was there, but the music brought it out.
Yeah.
So I think, creative wise, it also it can feed you.
Mhm.
I mean, for me, it definitely does. I mean,
Yeah.
as a dancer, of course, but it additionally, when I started writing and doing podcasts and stuff, when I'm moving, it just makes my brain like it drives my creativity in a way that it just doesn't when I'm sedentary.
No.
So, for sure, and when I have those types of it can work either way for me, but certainly when I'm surrounded by almost any type of art, just something that's of interest. And sometimes even when I'm at a party, if there's a window, I just like looking out the window. Like
Yeah.
my back will be to the crowd
Yeah.
and seeing like what's happening outside and looking at like the architecture of New York or
Mhm.
wherever I am. So I think
Mhm.
that visual interest just kind of lets your mind relax in another way and opens
Mhm.
yourself up to creativity
Yeah.
Mhm.
or whatever it needs to open up to.
Yeah.
The exploration of oneself.
Yeah, and then on the
Yeah.
dance floor, your answers will come.
Yeah.
Maybe answers to your it's like a meditation.
It is.
Sometimes
It's
I go by
so
myself
meditative.
to the like the other night I went to go see Honey Dijon and I went by myself. That's not my crowd and not my scene. I went there late and I didn't know anyone, but I could just go on the dance floor and dance. I only went for an hour and it was meditative because nothing mattered. I didn't know anyone around me, so I
Uh-huh.
didn't care. My guard
Uh-huh.
was down. And then you can express yourself through dance and get exercise and just be free and listen to that music. And then I left and I was like, wow, that felt so good to get it out.
Uh-huh.
And once you get stuff out, then stuff can come in.
Uh-huh.
Like you had a problem that night, right? And maybe you went to go dance and you released something, but then you had room for something to come in.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was art wise for you or what, but yeah, it's meditation. You clear your brain so ideas can come in.
And I think that dance does that in a way that nothing else for me can compare to. Right?
It can.
Like
It's
for me personally.
yeah, it's meditation
hmm
and healing and self-expression
And even exercise.
and exercise.
Exercise does that too, but I just think with I think the community,
Yeah.
like it like
The
this
energy.
this greater consciousness of
Mhm.
all of us on the
Mhm.
like we're all on the same beat, although we're moving at
Yeah.
different
Yeah.
parts
Yeah,
to the
it's
beat.
huge.
But
It
like
becomes huge.
it becomes the ritual of
Yeah.
going to church and seeing the Sistine Chapel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah, and by virtue of it being a shared experience, even especially I know a lot of people, especially of late, with the worlding the way that it is, feeling on an island, that communal experience leaves you can help one to be a bit more vulnerable when you see that others are kind of
Mhm.
like letting it go and all of
And
those
like
things.
another human being.
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
sometimes it's just like, I don't know what these people are doing. Like, I must be weird because I think this is crazy what's going on. But,
Yeah.
like when we share that space, you realize we're all the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're all
Yeah.
experiencing what we're experiencing and just trying to stay sane
Exactly.
and try to be gentle with ourselves. Like, I can't be gentle to you unless I'm being gentle to myself,
That's
right?
very true.
Like, and if I'm being hard, then I
It
can't be
manifests
loving.
outward.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
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 Totally agree. And in what ways does incorporating art of all forms into spaces drive larger culture outside of the party? For instance, I find that nightlife or music-driven culture is a bastion of new thoughts and ideas in larger culture for people who never went to a party in their life. Yes,
I have the perfect answer for that.
great.
The way I met you,
hmm
that was through Seth Troxler,
hmm
and he had a T-shirt on. So to answer your question, that was within a club. And
It was through Will.
Oh, through Will.
Through Will.
It was through
Which will?
Will Auto Magic.
Okay.
So. And then quickly we realized that.
That was through Will,
Yeah.
then Seth.
hmm
But regardless, that little thing I did for those two people inspired you for me to create a huge mural in your house, done
Yes.
endless looks for you. So that brought those little tiny things in the club that you saw
hmm
into your life.
Yeah.
And then that touches Blake in San Francisco.
Yep.
And then then, Blake might tell someone about that, or he got a T-shirt, and then it's going to touch someone else there. And then that goes into the regular life. And then that goes into television and movies.
Yep. Absolutely.
Just from little things.
It just the chain effect of it all.
Yeah. So it evolves from there. Maybe somebody had a T-shirt on when they were spinning records in the nightclub, and they saw this little painting on the shirt, and then it went on from there, and it went on from there, and it went on from there. The same thing with you. You paint characters, portraits that you've been inspired by. Maybe you met them in the club scene. For instance, I became familiar with your work through our friend Patricia Field. She has a huge painting, a huge mural of your artwork in hers behind her kitchen that's stunning, and I was instantly attracted to that. So I asked her about you, and then lo and behold, I got to stay at your house in Miami.
During Basel.
You were so
really?
generous.
Yeah,
and I got to
yeah.
see more of your work, learn more about you. And then once you allowed me for that, you became a life friend for me, because I was so generous for you to let me stay there. I don't know where you were. How come you weren't there?
Yeah.
You were somewhere else, but I stayed there on your floor.
On the floor, I had a bed for you.
You had the mattress.
The air mattress,
Yeah, and I
which
was
I had at that point too.
grateful for that.
Yeah.
And I had my bike, and I had a private space there. So anyways, that's another example of how things can go from within the nightclub to out of the nightclub
The
into
ripple.
someone's home, and it's a ripple effect.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you been into Patricia Field's apartment?
No, I
No.
haven't.
Oh,
I
yeah.
saw a picture of it.
You have to
yeah.
see it. They're kind of modular, and they're large scale portraits of women. Beautiful, just incredible.
I don't know who showed me a picture, or somewhere I saw a picture, but I would definitely
And
love
Pat's
to see it in
very proud of
person.
those. Like,
Oh my!
It's
Every day
incredible.
her and Kevin tell me. Well, Kevin tells me every day. She's like, "Oh my God, I love Richard. I love his work. I
Yeah.
love his work."
Yeah.
I mean, but we're very fortunate. Pat definitely does love both of us.
She does.
We're the golden children.
And you know what else? You know how someone has a signature style? Like, we keep bringing up Kembra, but it's her.
Right.
When they see your painting, it's yours and
Yeah.
nobody else's. No one can touch it. No one can come for it. It's yours. You've honed into that. You got the technique down. You know what you're doing. I think you paint reverse on the glass. But it's you. It's you.
Well, jumping off of that, what I learned in nightclubs when I started going out back in the day, before time, was that, you had to represent yourself, and you had to create an image, or you had to be, I couldn't articulate it back then, but it's like, you come correct. When you go out, and like, it's just, you create this alphabet, this language that is your own. So I immediately, when I was going out, I looked like Jerry Lewis on crack. And I had this smile with missing teeth.
Now I have to see pictures.
And Chichi Valenti was like, "You've got a million wattage smile." Like, I would just go in and I would light up a room. And I don't say that. That's what I've been told.
Yeah.
So I always had this need to be different, to stand out, because like the graffiti artists, I grew up during that time, and we all had to make a mark.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I am different from the rest.
Yes.
So it's so important as an artist that you create this visual language that is yours. I know your work like immediately. I see it and I know it. And I think that is the challenge.
It's very difficult.
If it wasn't.
It's very difficult to get to
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Because you can do this, you can do that, you can, a lot of people have a lot of different styles, but when you hone into one and it's recognizable to you, that's very hard to do. Very few people do that. Where you can say, that's a Richard Alvarez painting, or that's so-and-so's
Scooter.
painting, that's Kembra's, that's
Yeah,
Kembra
or
right there.
Keith.
Or
you
Keith,
know,
or that's a Keith.
Yeah. So, I think in terms of like, within the night, you know, the club space, and then filtering out to the mainstream culture. I mean, everything that is happening today. And I'm not nostalgic. I do not want to live in yesteryear. That is
No.
so like it's amazing. It's amazing. But like I'm not stuck in the past. I want to know what's happening now. But the language that we created back then with art, music, fashion, architect, everything is the language that we're speaking now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It all comes from the nightclub because
Yeah.
that's where it all intersected.
Yeah.
Exactly. And you have people from all walks of
you
life and
do.
all types of
Yeah.
professions and all types of, and there's so many ways to be inspired through that can
Yes.
be incorporated into lots of different professions and industries because of the collective nature of all
Yeah.
the people that are actually
Yeah. And then,
in the space.
and then I just want to say one thing. When I see new children coming into the scene, the young children, I always tell them, get good at something. If you're a piano player, get good at playing the piano. Because most of them are artists. Get good at something. If you're a painter, get good at your painting. If you're a writer, get good at your writing because the club has its day. You have to hone in on your skill. If you're an artist and going to the nightclub and meeting other artists, get good at painting. Get good at dancing. You get good at writing. Get good at talking in the mic and interviewing people.
Yeah.
Yeah. You and I are painters. We got good at our painting and we're still learning, right?
Oh,
I am.
I still
I
have
am.
so
Yeah.
much to learn.
So I always tell the children, figure out what you're going to do and get good at it.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. It's just like focus in, and it's and it's a very difficult thing to do,
It is.
especially in a world of modern distractions that are
Absolutely.
umpteen. And to your point earlier about not being nostalgic, I certainly can be that for a moment, but my goal is to inspire ideas and things like that, and have guests that inspire as well, because at the end of the day, you don't know what you haven't experienced or you haven't seen. And I think that dance music culture has gotten so far away from the party goer and the ethos and values that are very personal and so DJ centric, that I think that it's worth discussing the past so that we can inspire, so we can, people have some ideas for the future that are new, not to replicate, but that are new.
My responsibility is
Yeah.
to talk about our ancestors.
Yes.
Because some of these young kids talk to me and they're like, "Oh, I'm so bored with the classics and the old school and I'm like, baby, those are our ancestors.
Yeah.
I stand on the shoulders of people who got beat
Yeah.
and ridiculed.
Yeah.
And we have got to provide. We need to acknowledge and respect where we come from. Because there's nothing today. I mean, nothing today of matter doesn't have some sort of historical reference.
Absolutely.
Like you talked about Beethoven, or like our lineage goes way back.
Yeah.
Like nightclubs. There were people who created nightclubs who really suffered for what they believed in.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
In the 20s, they had the Harlem Renaissance. People died in there. The gay people died. They were killing off gays. The gay people had to go down in a basement and knock 3 times on the door and this and that. So you're right. We have to respect our elders and remember that that's where the club started. It was life or death for the children to go into the nightclub.
Yep.
They
and
would
be
kill
with their
you
be with their community.
and be with their community.
And take off the mask.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that's, and I think in this era, people lose, not, this is a general statement, but for the most part, people lose that preciousness in that, like, this can go away, which sometimes is very surprising to me, given that we just went through COVID 5 years ago.
Yeah.
So we talked a bit about some examples of parties and clubs in previous eras that were impacted by artists' vision, work, and presence. And a couple that were mentioned were Area and Paradise Garage and Spank. But I'd love to dive into that a little bit more and hear what those spaces were like.
Oh, well, I'm a San Francisco child.
Yeah.
So I have to refer to Richard for those because I was not here for that except for Spank.
But for Spank,
Yeah.
yes, exactly. Well, maybe we'll start with the New York ones, and then I'd love to hear on the San Francisco
Okay.
side of things. Or
So I started going out to Mud Club.
Yeah, which is right down the street here, across the street.
Mhm.
Yeah, and there was a heavy art movement happening. They had they would have all these events, all these happenings, and I didn't really understand the significance of it, but I saw it and I filed it, and so Mud Club had it. Danceteria had painting on the walls. They had videos. They were showing videos. They were one of the first clubs to start showing this new format of videos.
Yeah.
Which, imagine a world without MTV. But it's also like imagine a world without hip hop or, like all these different genres and these new ways of communicating were being formulated and put into this laboratory, which is what clubs were. So the one that really does stand out to me, and probably one of my favorite, is the Kenny Scharf.
This is at the Palladium.
At the
right?
Palladium. I mean, people would go crazy. They'd go downstairs and it's colorful and bright and just like
Did you go to that?
day glow.
no,
and-
I mean I moved here in 2008, so I
okay,
missed.
yeah.
it was
all-
insane.
I mean, also, yeah. I mean, yeah. It's always colorful and bright and
just like all these characters all over and like a phone and fur covered stuff. And it was just insane. Like, I mean, I wasn't doing acid or mushrooms then. I was doing other things, but I was like, oh my God, I would love to be on acid in this room because it was like a technicolor dream, a technicolor dream of like some other world, which is, what you kind of want to experience when you're in a nightclub. You want to
Yeah.
transcend your body, if you will.
have some escapism for the night
Yeah.
or day or whatever,
Mhm.
night
Yeah.
and day and night or whatever
Yeah.
the case may be.
There's this great artist who painted the halls in Lebanon, and when you go in, it's like these stick figures.
Right.
I'm not
Oh,
sure.
Yeah, no, it's fucking amazing. And then, so it's still being activated. There's still spaces using art. But nowadays, you go into a club and you said it. I mean, it's like in a warehouse and there's porta potties and, it's so smoggy and dirty and hot and it's not comfortable. It's a concrete floor. And I was talking to an associate that I love a lot, who I'm not going to mention, but we were watching all these queer young kids sitting on the sidewalk because it was so hot inside, and I was like, they paid $60 to go into this.
Wow.
And not dance.
And I mean, it's not comfortable.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And this is like fierce Brooklyn queer scene, and it's just like, I think we could do better than that.
Mhm. Yeah.
What was Spank like?
Oh God. Well, I like how you described the club. What do you say? A laboratory. That it was a laboratory, right?
yeah.
So Spank was almost like a laboratory.
And that was Will
It was
Automagic's
it was
party,
Will
right?
Automagic's party, and I worked with him 3 times, and they asked me to come in and paint T-shirts once. So I came into the nightclub and I set up a whole T-shirt stand, and I was silk screening T-shirts and hand painting them, and then we would hang them up and let them dry, and by the end of the night, people would come and get their shirts, and it was really fun. And then they had another party where we set up tents, and everyone did their own tent. They did an installation in their tent, and I remember doing it with Miss Janice and Rachel, singer, Sparkle Princess, and Janice, who has your Sylvester painting in her house, by the way. It's beautiful. So we did that.
Hangs over your couch.
Yes. And then the third thing I did at Spank is I painted live. I painted a huge mural live in the nightclub, and we put like a velvet rope up, and then people would come and talk to me, and I would go back and paint, and then people would come and talk and go back and paint, and I loved it. Like Lady Miss Keir came up to talk, and a lot of my friends were there. I remember Rainbow. Do you remember Rainbow? Do you remember Rainbow?
No.
Rainbow was there. just everyone. So it was a really good experience, but that was almost like a laboratory or laboratory in the club where you had a lot of things going on and there was a scientist there putting things together. And I do love a warehouse too that's all empty and stuff to go dancing. But you know what? I also love a couch in a club where you can sit on a couch and people can come to you, or you can go to the dance floor. Because sometimes I just like to sit on the couch.
Yep.
Right? I do love that. So anyways, I love all forms of nightclubs, and I grew up in the nightclub. I did. That's where I grew up, and that's where I wanted to be.
That's where you found yourself.
Yeah. Because we're freaks.
Well, let me ask you
We're
this. I
freaks.
wanted to ask you. So when you were live painting, did the music inform?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a dance.
Yeah.
It's a dance.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
let
yeah.
yourself go free.
Yeah.
The music informs it. You dance on the paint. You dance on the canvas. The music informs the beats, and you let go. You let go and you let God, or whatever you choose for you, as far as that's concerned. And you become a vessel and a tube. Just it comes right through you and into the canvas.
Yeah.
I love that analogy, like a tube. You're just kind of like feeding from one to the other.
Yeah.
And it's super cool when you're talking about all these other people coming up, and you're not only inspiring from afar, but you're having the conversation as you're doing painting the mural or painting the t-shirts. And it's so interactive.
But I always have to do something in a nightclub because I don't drink or use alcohol. So I need to be doing something. And it's either dancing or painting or creating something or helping or lighting or something. I have to do something in the club.
Yeah.
I just can't sit there and, do nothing. Yeah.
And what happened, like with the mural and stuff? Was it in a club space? Or
Yeah,
what
and they
happened with
lit
that?
it. Will lit it.
Uh-huh.
So it was gorgeous and beautiful, lit. Imagine a stage lit, a velvet rope, so it became important, and a huge wall that he put with canvas and paints. So it was painting. So it got a whole crowd in there watching. And then every now and then I would step and say hello to people and take a break and then go back and paint again.
And it's evolving.
So cool.
It's evolving.
Right. It's being created as you speak. So that you're like, I imagine, because I love drugs, but I imagine like you take something and you go and you dance and then you look and then you go and you dance and then you look
come back
and
again.
it's completely, it's like, oh my God, that's moving. It's alive. It's alive.
Yeah.
And maybe someone doesn't
It's
see
alive,
you,
yeah.
and then they're like, "How did it change?"
Yeah.
Completely.
Fun.
And what about in San Francisco? Are there any other? I know we talked about it briefly, but
Yeah, in San Francisco, I came up in the clubs Club Uranus, Tranny Shack, Pleasure Dome, Club Universe. I had my own club in the Tenderloin with this person, my good friend named Darlin, called Gangbang, and I with Juanita Moore, Heclina, Pippi, Justin Bond, Jerome Kaja. A lot of these people came up at the same time. A lot of artists came up at the same time, and Justin moved here, and then I moved here. So, there's a lot of memories, and that was when I was getting really informed about who I wanted to be, and I was, always has wanted to be an artist. But Tranny Shack people would perform in drag, and it was kind of like slightly like, I would say RuPaul's Drag Race was slightly inspired by Tranny Shack. I don't know if you're familiar with that club.
I'm not.
Are you? You are. Yeah, but
not.
a lot of New York kids came through there, like Lady Bunny and Lady Miss Keir, all the Go-Go's. I worked the door. I worked the coat check there for years, so it was really fun.
I mean, these places all sound super fun.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, that's the thing, is that we were able to create art because we had like a means of supporting ourselves.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, the one thing, maybe not so much in the more corporate settings, but nightclubs pay well.
They do.
You do get paid.
I
mean,
would walk with like $500 in the 90s.
Yeah,
From doing coat check.
I got paid.
Yeah.
I get paid.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it's something that, people, when I'm working the door, people are like, oh, you got to tone down, and I'm like, baby, I make more than you do.
Yeah.
And I work like 5 hours
Yeah.
and you work 40. So like,
And then I go
you do the
dance.
math.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And look at Miss Allen T. She's been doing it for decades, and she gets coin.
She gets coined down.
Yeah, and I think, today, and it's not to say the past is better than the now. It's just to say, like, what are things that we might, what elements can we bring into now that would elevate?
I don't think the children are going into the nightclub anymore.
I
The
mean,
children are staying home.
I think some are, but I definitely think there are a lot of people going out. And
Yeah.
What do you think? Are the
There
children
Yeah,
staying
people
home?
are going out.
People are going
Like
out.
the young children are
And-
going out?
I mean, the thing about it is that when times are good, people want to celebrate. When times are bad, like they are now,
They want to
people
celebrate.
want to fucking go out.
You're
and
right.
Yeah.
I want to
You're
lose
right.
my mind on the dance
I wanna
floor.
forget
I
everything.
don't want to think about
Yeah.
what's going on. I
Yeah.
don't want to think
That
about
makes sense.
going to the supermarket and spending $60 on like half a bag of like.
Exactly.
It's just so depressing
Yeah,
now.
yeah.
And we're all seasoned. I don't believe in the word old.
Mm-hmm.
It's so negative. You're like, sure.
No, I'm doing my research. I'm gonna give you something. Go ahead, keep
But
on.
I do think that there's more people that are aging into the dance music scene than previous generations for many, many reasons. And I think now what I'm seeing is the ability for people that are seasoned to actually carve out a new kind of like a new dimension of the dance music scene, right? And like go at like day parties and just really kind of carving out different segments of it. And I think it's going to massively change the landscape of nightlife.
Okay,
So it's
so
not just about the children, I think, anymore.
no, a PhD
No, it's not about the
project.
children. Yeah.
A PhD project that wrapped in 2024 based at the University of Liverpool took a close look at how underground dance music scenes are still alive and adapting, especially in cities where nightlife collides with gentrification. The researcher is focusing on Liverpool's current wave of independent parties. Basically, one of the key insights is the role of older participants.
Work.
The research in
Work.
VCs
You were just
challenges
talking
the
about
idea
that.
that dance culture belongs only to the young. Instead, it highlights how longtime promoters, DJs, and dancers are still shaping underground scenes well into their 40s.
Work.
I'll send this to you.
Yes, what is the article? Just or what is
The persistence of the underground in dance music scenes. The University of Liverpool. And it looked at Manchester, which is
Manchester,
a great.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'll send you the information. So I mean, I think
Yeah, I'll link it in the link for the podcast.
by all
and everything.
means.
Link
I
to the
mean,
show,
I
yeah.
you know,
Thank
I mean,
you.
I'm definitely no.
That's scientific, tangible evidence there. What you were just talking about.
Exactly. Why let why let anybody impact what you love,
That's
the
right.
most and
Right.
push you out of something that gives you so much.
Mhm.
And to those that are maybe younger and just coming into it, it's like, it's not a threat to have people of different generations. In fact, I kind of look at it as if you're looking at folks that are older, more seasoned or whatnot, and you're thinking, why are they here? I don't foresee you being in it for that long. So
No.
that's kind of the way I look
You're
at
right.
it.
You're right.
You know, I went to on Saturday. I went to Love Saves the Day, which is a Mancuso loft sort of offspring. And Benny and I were on the dance floor, and I saw some
I know
older,
Benny. I love Benny.
not like guys my age, and
Yeah.
they looked so amazing. And I was like, Benny, yo, that guy is so hot. And he was like, girl, and I'm like, I know, but he was an older, beautiful person, right? And he was a dancer. So that's why he appealed to me.
Yeah.
Because I mean, most of the guys that I'm attracted to, I'm like, God, they're so young.
Yeah.
But it's the energy. But the dancers of my generation who are still dancing, they look amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're still like it clicks.
Well, yeah, and certainly there are scientific studies
Yeah.
talking about the cognitive and the motion.
Yeah, and
all
when I
that.
was a kid in San Francisco, I would go to this club called the I-Bean, and there would be the older queens dancing with fans. Do you remember fan dancing?
It still is a thing.
Good. Thank God, because I was
came
amazed
back.
by it. It came
Yeah.
back, but the older queens would fan dance, and that was that was our elders, and I loved watching them, and I
Yeah.
thought it was so cool. I was just so amazed by it. But anyways, that's very San Francisco to fan dance.
I mean, on the other side, when I was a kid, the older queens hated us younger ones because we were so out and so in your face,
Yeah.
which is a part of my generation,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
is like this whole punk,
Yeah,
you know,
act
like,
up,
fuck
punk,
you,
fuck
yeah.
you. We're queer.
The older queens
Yeah.
hated us because we were able to be so
Yeah,
open
yeah,
and so queer.
yeah.
Whereas they had to wear the mask and
Yes.
knock on the door
Yeah.
3 times
Yeah.
to get in.
Yeah.
My generation really, you know, I mean,
Yeah.
I was able to be a part of that,
Mm-hmm.
you know, but we were definitely like out there.
Brash and out
Yeah.
there and doing
Yeah.
that.
I mean, I fought for my space.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know, I mean, I took
Yes.
the train every day from the Bronx.
yeah,
Mhm.
In a look,
yeah,
rocks and bottles thrown.
yeah.
But you know,
Me
you
too.
had to
Me
you had
too.
to give a look.
Yeah,
That, I
You
mean,
had
know,
to.
You had to
You
come.
had to, yeah.
Bring it.
you had to.
You're not gonna bring it.
Yeah,
Don't
go
stay
to the
club,
home.
Stay
You're just
home.
gonna bring it to a bother.
Stay home,
yeah.
You know, so I mean, I think generationally, I definitely am so nurturing and loving to the kids.
Yeah.
When they call me elder, I'm like, who are they talking
Ooh.
to? Because I don't think of myself as an
No,
elder.
yeah, yeah.
I really don't.
Yeah,
And for me, it's very reciprocal, and certainly everyone is different. And you know, if folks that you gel with more than others, of course, but in general, like there's so much to learn from. It's not like it's one way, and I think
Right.
sometimes there can be a misnomer that people who are on the older end of the spectrum, it can be like dogmatic and like
Yeah.
preachy and all of that. And it, of course, it has to do with intent and how someone's saying something and all of those things.
The
It's
gold-
happened to me.
the golden rule at the nightclub is don't be a cunt,
Don't be a cunt.
especially to the door person. If you give attitude, you forget it.
Yeah.
Just
Well,
be nice.
Be
humble.
have etiquette and have
Have
some
etiquette.
manners.
Have
Yeah.
some etiquette.
I mean, that's, you know, we're preaching to the choir.
Well,
Hopefully, this will go out and become more mainstream.
exactly.
But I mean, it's just in general, just have
Oh,
manners.
in life, yeah. just
Exactly.
in
And be
life.
nice.
Yeah.
treat others as you want to be
Yeah.
treated.
Exactly.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
really,
Exactly.
really simple.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Absolutely.
The golden
Absolutely.
rule.
Yeah, the golden rule.
Definitely.
Legends know no code.
Johnny
I love
and
that
Chi-Chi.
Legends
our
know no
code.
code. Don't
Legends
Johnny and
know no
Chi-Chi.
code. You just know when you know, I guess. You know,
Yeah,
it's just
if you
kind of
know,
like it's not.
you know.
It's not easy to articulate, I guess.
Yeah.
No, people are always like, "How do you know?" And I'm like, "You can
You just-
feel a person's energy.
Yeah.
Like when they,
You can feel their energy, yeah.
you can."
But I guess at the on that end of things, like you see a lot of entitlement these days, and I don't care. It could be someone that's younger or older, whoever. Entitlement just across the board.
Yeah,
Yeah.
They're just being precocious
Yeah.
and systemic.
they're infiltrating. They're perpetrators.
Yeah, I'm not so worried about it though.
No.
And I think we've been around a long time. I know
Yeah.
we've been. Y'all are certainly longer than me, but like it's like you see the ebbs and flows and people going and
Yeah.
saying. And
Yeah.
I'm not
Yeah.
so worried at the end of the
I
day.
just keep
no,
your-
no,
yeah.
no.
No.
We'll always be.
Mhm.
We've always been.
And ebbs and flows.
Keep your side of the street clean.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Are there other examples?
I mean, I've had works throughout the decades in
Yeah.
clubs. I work with Cesar Galinda, who is an amazing, I mean, creating environments.
Yeah.
More than, artwork.
Which is an art. The environment as a whole
Absolutely.
is
Absolutely.
is
I think sometimes that's
important.
more potent
Yeah.
than an actual image, if
Yeah.
you will. Because like painting and watching it evolve is an experience that's interesting. But like a finished painting, I mean, I don't know. But I've always been more into doing environmental work.
Yeah,
You
Yeah.
know, rather than like a
Yeah.
mural or
absolutely.
I think the environmental. I've done Cielo. I did art.
Cielo,
I miss Cielo. I love
Oh
Cielo.
my God, Nicholas should be doing something soon.
Yeah.
Nicholas, we're all waiting.
So as I mentioned earlier, while history and nostalgia are of the utmost importance, that I through Rants and Raves really aim to focus on what's happening today and aims to inspire the future in new ways, not to just replicate it. And, there's a lot of differences over the eras, and what we face today is not the same as the challenges that promoters and people face in nightlife and dance music culture of yesteryear. But what might be reasons that art is not as often showcased at parties and clubs currently?
I think one of the things is that there's a lot of places that, I'm involved at some parties and we're not at one place all the time.
Yeah.
I was just
So
gonna
we're
say that.
constantly moving
Yeah.
and, packing up the kit and caboodle
Yeah.
and setting up economically, it just doesn't make sense.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although there are some roving parties that do it, I don't, it's a thing about economics and
Yeah.
it needs to make sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, the money it costs to throw a party these days to just procure space
Yeah.
for the artist, for the sound,
Yeah.
it is expensive.
It is.
It is very, very expensive. And certainly I am not a promoter, but I would just say, to tap into those around you might be one way to do that. And certainly it's not to say that people shouldn't be, they need to be compensated for their time
Exactly.
and their energy.
Exactly.
But, you don't know what you don't explore, is what I would say.
But like you said, certain people show up at a party and they're getting paid to be there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
I just, for me, I don't know. I did a party where we laid down a dance floor and we had visuals on the white walls in a space not too long ago, and it was amazing.
Yeah.
But just those costs after dealing with that, and anything else, after a while it does become cost prohibitive where it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Exactly.
Because a lot of people don't pay the help equitable
Yeah.
Mhm.
rates.
Hmm.
I've seen.
Yes.
One of the things that when I'm working, I'm getting paid a fair. I'm
Yeah.
not going to work somewhere that isn't going to treat me well.
Yeah.
So if they're treating me well, they're treating everyone well. And everywhere that I worked, we treat everyone,
Mhm.
especially queer,
Hmm.
especially people of color,
Yeah.
especially it's so important that we support the ones that usually don't get
Yeah.
supported.
Absolutely.
So asking someone to come and participate in something,
I more mean not necessarily participate for free, but having conversations that you don't know where that leads to. Perhaps, so for instance, if there's an artist who might want to a couple of artists who might want to display their work and it could be for sale, or whatever the case may be. I'm just saying there might be some more creative solutions that involve people getting compensated for their time. But when budgeting for a party, it's what is the weight of the art in the space and the visual impact and the experience as opposed to booking 6 DJs? Maybe you book 4 and you do something different.
absolutely.
How are you budgeting across, and where are you giving the emphasis and the import, and what are you giving the importance on?
of the person's
Right.
experience.
And I'm going to add sound in there too. Add sound, because
Yeah.
sometimes I think that slips.
Oh,
for sure.
absolutely. Absolutely. I wish that there were more opportunities
Agreed.
for people to come in and throw up their stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
To create an environment within, but it's just not happening.
It takes time, and I think the reason is because parties move from space to space to
Yeah.
space to space to space, and it's very quick. It's very guerrilla style.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But and on that end, I don't think that what I'm saying is an easy thing. And whether something's a good fit, just because it's art doesn't mean it's the right fit for your party.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a more complex thing. But I would say, to the point of, we talked a bit about fog earlier and how immersive it is. I just
Fog,
personally,
yeah.
I like to see people.
I want
to
to
a
see
degree.
you.
Like-
and look into your eyes.
Yeah, or at least just not walk into the wall. For me, that's very important. But, and to each their own. But I do think in this world of, it's ketamine and looking at your cell phone and being very, what's the word? disengaged and all of that. I think we could do with some more engagement and some more human contact, especially given how much time we spend on our screens of all types.
Oh yeah,
you know.
yeah.
Well, this has been a very eye-opening and very inspiring conversation. And to wrap things up, I'd love to hear about what you're currently working on, where people can see your work, what's coming up in the future.
What is your future, Scooter?
Oh, I'll go.
The world wants to know.
Well, I will. You know, we just finished the White Lotus T-shirt. Got nominated. The episode that T-shirt came out in, the costume designer got nominated for an Emmy Award.
Oh wow!
So she and I
Amazing.
designed 4 T-shirts together that are inspired by that White Lotus shirt and by music festivals, dance music festivals in the UK, Glastonbury and Beanfield.
Oh, neat.
So we have a whole collection of shirts that we just put up on a website called fullmoontime.com. And her name's Alex Boviard, and she's a very good friend of mine and just so creative and loves music and dancing and art. And that's what I'm focusing on right now. And plus I have stuff at the Getty Museum. I just sent them about 50 painted garments, bracelets, hats, bags for their gift shop in tandem with 2 queer shows that are up right now that are up for the next couple months.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Mazel tov. That's so.
Yeah.
That's
Much
fantastic.
appreciated.
That is good. That's wonderful.
Thanks.
A lot of good stuff.
I am on a dance floor at a door creating artwork. And I mean, I have some things percolating in 2026. Probably the easiest way to keep up with what's going on with me is through my IG account, ralvarezart.com or com, and Richard, or look up Richard Alvarez. And you know, I have some possible group group shows. You know, we'll see what happens.
Cool.
We'll see what happens. But I have a bunch of different things in the works as well.
Nice.
Well, my eyes are definitely, my eyes and ears are, of course, definitely peeled for all of that. And like, it's amazing to hear more about your experiences and how you've been involved in just participating in the dance music scenes in all ways.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, it's very inspiring to hear your stories, and very motivating as well. In a time where I'm not always the most motivated.
Your kids can grow up and be like us if you love and nurture them.
Or even better, try to outdo it. I love
Right.
that.
Go beyond.
I mean, that's it for me.
Yeah.
It's like push it.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
be inspired and do something new.
Be yourself.
Be yourself.
Yeah.
I love that.
No one else can be you, and you
Well-
can't be anyone else.
Exactly. Well, thank you again
Thank you.
for joining Ransom
Thank you, Miss
Raves.
Tova.
And,
Thank you, Toba. Rants and raves.
Yes.
Raves and rants.
Thanks all.
Like what you hear and want more? Subscribe to the newsletter at rantsandраves.substack.com for columns and audio emailed directly to you.